friends, and welcome to Coffee with My Sunshine. If you want to see how I made this tiered tray, then let's get started. The pieces that I used for this tiered tray are a few items that I picked up from Habitat for Humanity. I picked up 2 different types of cabinet doors and 2 spindle type things from beds or headboards. First, you want to start by marking where you want to make the cuts depending on how high you want your tiered tray and how much room you want in between each tier. But before we get into that, I just wanted to mention that I am doing this project to join in on the Girls Can Use Power Tools Challenge, and that is hosted by NataLee from Design to the Nines. And each month she has a co-host, and this month's co-host is Katie from Handy Mom. I know you will love their channels, and I will have them linked in the description box below. Be sure to check them out after you are done with my video. I will also have the playlist listed in my description box as well. So let's get started. And for this piece that I'm showing you here, I forgot to hit record, but I did cut that along with a centerpiece of the spindle, and I'm going to end up gluing them together to make the very top piece of the tray. But I realized after I did that the cute little topper was a little bit bigger than the middle piece that I cut for it to go on top of. So I'm going to use our sander to make it nice and flat, and then also take down some of the edges to make it fit with that centerpiece. And this is actually one of my favorite tools to use. It is really fun and it makes sanding go by so fast. Next, we are going to take some more of the spindle and cut it down for the center and the bottom of the tiered tray. Then we are taking the cabinet doors and cutting them down to size. And I'm not giving measurements because it all depends on what size tiered tray you want and what size cabinet doors you are using. And I thought I would go ahead and glue that top piece together so it has time to dry, and then we clamped it. We just used some regular wood glue, and that usually holds really, really well. And then you're going to want to let that dry for quite a while. As that was drying, we went ahead and cut the rest of the spindles and the smaller cabinet door for the top of the tiered tray. And because the cabinet doors both had holes from the handles in them, I'm just taking some of this wood putty and filling them in. And you're going to want to use more putty than you think you'll need, because as this stuff dries, it really shrinks. And these are those little bottom pieces that we used from this, that we cut from the spindle. And I'm going to use those as little legs for the tiered tray. And here's the wood putty after it is dried. I'm just picking at it to make sure that it's good to go. And then I went ahead and used a paint scraper to scrape off the big chunks of it, and then gave it a good sanding. And this stuff is super easy to sand. Then for mine, I'm just using some of this Waverly white chalk paint and giving both the cabinet doors 2 coats, and you can use whatever you want. You can use whatever color, you can use acrylic paint, spray paint, doesn't matter. It's just what I had on hand. So as those are drying, I'm just taking some of this 220 grit sandpaper and sanding down all the pieces just to make sure they have a nice smooth edge. And I'm using 2 different stains because I wanted like a coastal or driftwood color. So for this, I'm using the Natural Stain by Minwax and the Weathered Gray by Rust-Oleum. And make sure you use gloves or you will have stained fingers for days. And I started by putting the natural stain down first. And these wood pieces are ones that my husband cut for me for the edges of the tray. I wasn't sure at first that I wanted edges, but I thought it would look better. So he went ahead and cut those for me, and we did not film that. I forgot. So I went ahead and stained everything, and I did not wipe off the natural stain before I put down the weathered gray. I just layered it right over top, and it was still wet, so and it seemed to work fine. And then I just let those pieces dry overnight, and then we went ahead and attached the edges with a little bit of wood glue and these tiny nails. And I'm glad I went with these edge pieces. I think it just kind of finishes it off a little bit better. And then you're going to want to mark the center of your tiered pieces by drawing an X and going from each corner just to find the center piece. And then you're going to want to do the same thing for the spindles that go in the center. We decided to pre-drill just so it was easier for the screws to go in, so it didn't like crack any of the wood pieces. I will have all the tools listed in my description box if you guys are interested. And this screwdriver makes it so much easier. So here we pre-drilled and then put the screw in part way just so we could screw on that center piece of the spindle. and then went ahead and screwed the screw in the rest of the way. And then same with the next layer, and then just put that on top of the spindle. And then for the bottom little round pieces, I just put a little bit of wood glue on them and set the tray right on top and adjusted the feet so that I liked the placement. And then for the top piece, since it doesn't need to be like super strong, we just use some wood glue to attach it. And that was it. It was actually like a really fun project. I hope you guys enjoyed it, and please let me know if you guys are going to make one of your own. These tiered trays can be so expensive in the stores and online, and this one, the spindles only cost me $2 a piece, and the cabinet doors only cost me $2 a piece as well, so it was super affordable and really fun to make. And I wanted to thank NataLee for inviting me to do this challenge with them. Don't forget to head on over to her channel and Katie's, and also watch the playlist after you're done here. Thanks so much, guys, for all your love and support, and I'll see you next time. Bye!